That's a gold eagle. That's not a golden eagle, that's a gold eagle. It's like embossed. It's really shiny gold. I don't know if it's really gold, but it's gold. Embossed, and it's from the business card that I just picked up here at the offices of Senator Jeff Flake. That's his office here in Phoenix, Arizona on 2200 Camelback. And this particular location on the day of September the 25th. September the 25th, this location now behind me over here on this side. I just got that business card with that gold eagle. And I went in there, that office, asking the gentleman there, representative, the community services, constituent services representative for Senator Jeff Flake. He's apparently holding a spot there since Senator John McCain have deceased. And one of the two senators from the state of Arizona, I imagine they're going to be vote, or on Thursday, they're anticipating a hearing before the congressional body and the Judicial Committee related to the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh, the judge, to the U.S. Supreme Court. So before things get too much out of hand on what side is the right or the left, somebody's going to ask, what are you talking about, the right or the left of what? They already know it's a certain concept. And Donald Trump was talking about it today there at the UN. He said it out loud, he said it openly, but nobody called him on it. As a matter of fact, everybody was playing the same game in there. They call it Westphalia, 1648, the Westphalian system of state sovereignty. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the collapse into the Dark Ages, and the reemergence of the feudal kingdoms, and then the kings were toppled. What are they going to do with the chair? They cut the head off of the king. What are they going to do with the chair, of the king's chair? We don't have a king to put in the chair. What are we going to do? We'll keep his crown. Keep the crown. Call it sovereign. A crown, you can't have sovereignty without a sovereign, and you can't have a sovereignty without a king. There may be a queen, but I don't know if there's ever been a queen without a king. In any case, we know it's the patriarchy, and the crown of that patriarchy, the King of Kings, you know what we're talking about, those who have been following the thread of the dismantling of the doctrine of discovery, the King of Kings, etc. The concept of sovereignty and dominion, they go together. And that's what Trump was talking about today, except now, besides the sovereign state system that the UN represents, you have the superimposed, and although it's hidden in plain sight, the regimes of the corporate, international corporate, the supranational entities. They're not even tied to any country or any monetary system. They're their own beast, and they have their own systems of colonization that are taking place now through the monetary agreements and trade arrangements, such as right now this government, the U.S., is negotiating a bilateral agreement with Mexico, and then they're going to turn around and flip and present that to Canada. And in the meantime, and it's very, very mean, the right of free, prior, and informed consent is being ignored, is being denied, is being violated on a daily basis. 526 years it will be now. But today we came to ask Mr. Flake, Senator Flake, a simple question, putting the issue of pardons, presidential, on the agenda once again. Why did not a single senator ask Judge Kavanaugh, what is your opinion about the presidential pardon of Sheriff Joe Arpaio by Donald Trump? What's your opinion of that? He wasn't even asked. The representative here, the constituent services in Jeff Flake's office says, well, probably he wouldn't answer because that's a pardon issue, and pardon issues being within the realm of the United States president, he could do that and not be challenged or questioned judicially. Nevertheless, remind yourself now this: the pardon of Donald Trump, the pardon of Joe Arpaio, by Donald Trump was the last act, the final act of obstruction and interference, inappropriately, unethical, and illegal in the judicial procedures that produced a guilty verdict on the case of Joe Arpaio here in the county of Maricopa, the state of Arizona, for racial profiling, discriminatory police, and animus as violation of U.S. civil rights against the so-called non-white constituencies in the state of Arizona, including, of course, from the beginning, the original nations of indigenous peoples. 1/3 of what is known of the state of Arizona that this senator represents in the U.S. Federal Congress, 1/3 of this state territorial is still today, under today, indigenous nations territory with some level of self-governance through tribal councils, traditional councils, or a combination. Therefore, it's a relevant question again. Taking into account the accusations, the allegations, the fact of how it is that Mr. Kavanaugh is of the same school, literally of the same school as Justice Gorsuch. And Justice Gorsuch, like Judge Kavanaugh, is of the same school, literally the same school as Steve Bannon. We're talking about these folks who believe in the supremacy of the narrative of manifest destiny writ large again today by President Trump on the floor of the United Nations General Assembly. And what a joke. What a joke. It's so jokey you can't even laugh about it anymore. It's so pitiful. It's not even funny. It's tragic. The tragedy we know, 1,500 and another 1,500. I saw a notice today. How many of those children will never, never, never be reunited with those families? We've seen them ourselves personally. We met them ourselves 4 years old, 5 years old. My own eyes have seen them. To know that at some point, never will they be reunited to that. What kind of a crime is that? How could you be up there laughing and joking about that? When it's your corporations, the corporate cartels of prison industry that's making $200 a day per night, per bunk, for each one of those detainees that your corporate prison corporations are making money off the bet that they put on the floor when they put you in there as the president. And you are the one who pardoned Arpaio, and you are the one who appointed Kavanaugh, and you are the one who appointed Gorsuch, and all of these are of the same school, the old school of the doctrine of dominion of Christendom, known as the doctrine of discovery, translated, extrapolated through the doctrine of manifest destiny in 1823, and then exported continentally the same year through the Monroe Doctrine, which is the situation as of even now today. And answer me this then, Mr. Flake, Senator Kyle. Are you going to ask that question? Mr. Kavanaugh, Judge Kavanaugh, what is your position on the presidential pardon of the criminal Joe Arpaio in the state of Arizona? And ask yourself that question. When you answer it, you're already asking yourself the same question and answering the same question. How can one criminal pardon another criminal? And if impeachment comes to bear, how is that going to be a factor in the impeachment proceedings that could be applied towards this president? How could it be a factor also against impeachment proceedings against, let's say, a Supreme Court judge as well? They say that the arc of justice is a bow and is bent. The arrow that flies out of that bow of justice is truth. It's the power of the message of truth. And against that truth, we understand. The stars will return in the sky.